Some of the missions of the Henryetta Historical Society are to preserve and display the historical artifacts of the Henryetta area. I am Mike Doak, President of the Henryetta Historical Society, and we are asking for your support as we preserve our greatest asset, our museum. As you can see from these pictures, we have rotten wood all around the building, sides and doors and windows. Once this is repaired, the entire exterior will need to be repainted. The kitchen floor has also deteriorated and needs to be replaced. The fence around the heat and air unit needs to be rebuilt to protect the unit. More ceiling lights need to be added for greater visibility. Additionally, a few of the park lights around the museum need to be replaced. With all of this completed, our museum will once again be a showcase.
Hello, this is Thomas Hudson coming to you from the Henryetta Territorial Museum. I would like to give everyone a little bit of a tour of the outside exterior of this museum and to see the damage that is due from neglect, and it is continued to be neglected. I'm going to come up to one of these windows, for instance. You see, you stick your finger in there. And let me come over and show you just a couple spots right here. This is all over this museum. And this damage, every time it rains, every day I notice differences in it. And it's getting worse and worse. And there'll be an explanation as some steps that they could take but failed to do. But this museum was the original high school in Henryetta, opened up in 1905. This damage here as I mentioned, is getting worse and worse. I want to show you this back door. This wood is rotting as we speak. When it rains, water gets in there, and when it dries out, the wood just rottens just that much more. This is all over this museum. The mentality, like for instance that door back there, I suggest putting a tarp down, just like if a storm came through and your house had the roof blown off of it. You wouldn't just let it get worse and worse before it could be repaired. You would cover it up. You would cover it up. And but no, this board is relying on all kind of miracles. They think they could get all of these members to join, and they'll have the money to fix this. Wow, that's a bit delusional to me. So while all of this is being continued, the damage getting worse, they're going to sit around and wait for someone to come up with a miracle. I'm going to take you on the inside here in a few minutes and show you some very alarming things about the damage to this museum. And I just want you to stay tuned. And after this little break, come and join me inside. This is Thomas Hudson. Hello, this is Thomas Hudson again. I'm inside the Henryetta Territorial Museum. You're looking at a new counter that the front office had received. I want to give you an example about how it's been one long struggle to get things done here. When I recommended taking out one of the other desks and a bench, and let's change this and and put a counter up here. This counter was obtained, I believe back in March, maybe 1st of April. The doors are not on here. They waited till the last minute. I kept on asking, when is this going to be accomplished? Because we needed this counter so I could start working on other administrative reorganization. This was brought in here around about 4:30 on a Friday afternoon back in June. And on Monday, the young historians of Henryetta, they went on a field trip to see the governor in Oklahoma. This office was left in a mess. It's been a struggle because the doors aren't on here. We finally got the shelf in there because it's not about procurement. It's about just someone doing something. It's like the young historians of Henryetta arranged for a sponsor to sponsor the T-shirts 2 months earlier. It was when I had to put someone on the board on the spot and in front of the young people and say, can you explain why they're not getting T-shirts? That's when the T-shirts were actually ordered. We almost didn't get them. I want to point out this right here, benefits of being a member. This is something that I did for them. Printed all these up for their annual dinner and got these membership plans. One of the companies that I oversee, veteranhost.com, they gave 50% discount offering this and that, stay up to date. Shows on here like the Young Historians, Henryetta History Camp, and there's a form back in the back. Well, now, after the membership dinner back in April, no one joined because all this drama that they put the museum in the middle of, they didn't get no members. Now they're in a panic situation. They're wanting me to redo all this and add one more level. That is very, very time consuming. Now, right here is the Young Historians of Henryetta booklet. You'll see these newspaper articles need to go in the back, and the protector. Of course, I didn't have all these sheet protectors, but this is the bylaws for the Young Historians of Henryetta. It is very, very in-depth. A lot of work went into this. And this is the sad thing about it, is that during Henryetta History Camp, no one from that board, until the last moment, once someone saw that it's going to be bigger than what they thought, wants to get involved. But these two young ladies right here, that's a picture of them getting a proclamation from the mayor. There was no one from that board present at City Hall other than someone from the freelance who took the pictures. The rest of the board, they don't want to go in there because they do not like the mayor. That is sad. That was about these young people. Now, let me point out something else, and I want to show you some damage to the museum that's very alarming. But right now, I want to get down here and see if I can pull this open. This is very difficult. Okay. Okay, now these files here, I want to give you an example of mentality around here, what I deal with. One of the things I've done since I've been here is I've developed and donated to the museum new technologies. And but it's hard to get, well, let me just, some of these folders, I'm trying to there's one particular one that I want to show you that was, anyway, I'll just pull out one. We'll see what's in them. Let's pull out this one if I could get it out. There's boxes and boxes of this stuff. This is about trying to explain modern technology to people who care less. Okay, let's see what's in this folder. This might not be one of the folders that I'm looking for. Oh, well, this is not one. That's something, I need to put that back here in a minute. Let's pull out okay. I was actually looking for, but here's one right here. All these folders, and there's boxes of this stuff. This museum board spends a lot of money on printing and copying and ink and paper. If you'll notice up here, Wikipedia, and there's an internet address. The mentality here is that if someone comes in here and they want some information, then you got it on file. Well, if it came from the internet in the first place, why don't you just do a search and you got the information there, and if you need it, you could just print it off at the time. Why spend the money on the ink, the copy and paper, putting all this stuff in the file and taking up a lot of room and space that you don't have? Why do that? Why not put this information up on their website, the server, and if someone needs information, you could copy it if they want to, and they could pay 10 cents a copy or whatever. Now, I want to show you something about the inside damage. You're not going to be able to tell too much, but like, for instance, if you step up and down, this floor is all cracked. All over. There's been guests that have come in here. And also, the museum, I've tried to get the board to establish policies. What is historical and what is just old stuff? I just can't get anybody to understand, because there's only so much room in this museum. This museum has become basically a fire hazard. There are fire extinguishers. There's 3. Yes, I want to take you into the back room. I know it looks a mess in here, but actually this looks wonderful compared to when I started. This back room, there were items stacked way high on this counter. It took me a long time just to scrub. There were boxes over the back. You still see boxes. Of course, we had an event down here the other night, and I got set up stuff. This closet was so jam-packed. Got some kind of organization, a little bit, some room. This is what I want to point out. If I move this right here, which I'm going to try to do, this spot right here, you can hear the cracking. You step there too much, it is going, you're going to fall in. So I put that there just to make sure it's safety. This is all over this back. This is the back door that I showed you on the outside. All this damage. Now, all over back here, right here, you can feel. And I've had people in here to look at it. And these boxes here, and like there's another thing of files, just taking up space. They have 2 storage facilities. One is underneath the library downstairs, and you ought to see the way it looks like. There's no inventory control. There is nothing. There is stuff up front here that I've been begging for months to put it in storage. Get it out of this museum. There's a lot of other issues that's going to come out in a report dealing with Miss management, neglect. There's a lot of things, administrative, financial, things like that. These members do not show any support for a very passionate program of mine, and that is called the Young Historians of Henryetta. You see these newspapers? We had a program the other night where they were all here with the parents. They're so excited. They've been lifted up. They just got back about a week ago from Arkansas. They met with the governor over there, interviewed him, met with a congressman, and they were treated like royalty. That picture that you're looking at right now, that's with Governor Mary Powell here in Oklahoma. All of this has nothing to do with politics, but it has to do with inspiring these young people. And like this newspaper right there, that's our wonderful Mayor Jennifer Clayson, who gave Emily and Leah a proclamation, making it their day in Henryetta. Right here, that's the governor of Arkansas and Miss Arkansas Teen USA with Emily and Leah. And in their hands, they're displaying the award they received from the governor. He commissioned them as ambassadors of goodwill for the state of Arkansas. And this newspaper right here, students meet the governor and other officials. This was in Oklahoma City. So, having said that, you're going to see some very disturbing video that, but anyway, as in other reports and videos, you'll learn a lot more. This is Thomas Hudson.